up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hey, hello, my name is Angela. I'm a lawyer who makes videos about law school, lawyer life, and all things in between. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 3 tips to set you up for career success while still in law school. Let's jump right in. The first tip is to develop effective study habits and discipline. This is super important for multiple reasons. The first thing is developing effective study habits is super important for your success while still in law school. And obviously, if you are able to outline very well, prep for your exams very well, write your briefs very well, do all those things very well, you're likely going to complete law school very successfully. And the better you do in law school, the more opportunities will be opened up for your success, right? And so that's kind of the obvious one that I think we have to talk about. But it gets much deeper than that, right? Many lawyers will tell you that they are working on multiple cases or matters at a time, right? And so in order to kind of manage your workload properly and service your clients effectively, you have to have good habits and discipline in order to maneuver a workload like that. That's just how it goes. I think sometimes TV doesn't do lawyers justice, where like you'll be watching a movie about a lawyer and they're spending all this time on one case and one case only, and that is just all they're focused on. While in real life, if you're a litigator, you are working on multiple cases at one time. If you're a transactional lawyer, you are working on multiple matters at a time. So you're always servicing more than one client. You're not just working on one thing. So you have to have those good habits to effectively manage those things. And that starts in law school. In law school, you're not just going to be focusing and prepping for one course. You're likely going to have 3 to 5 courses at a time. And so building those good study habits, that discipline to make sure you are studying, make sure you're completing your assignments, make sure you are preparing properly and in advance, is only going to do you good when you get out in the legal field. It's going to basically set you up and have you prepared to manage your workload, because you're already going to have those good habits and discipline that you created and build it upon while in law school to translate to your career as a lawyer. The next tip is to explore your interests. Contrary to popular belief, most people don't know what type of lawyer they want to be when they go to law school, or they have an idea of what type of lawyer they want to be and then quickly see that there's so much else out there, and so they change their mind, right? Even when you graduate from law school, that doesn't necessarily stop. People pivot within their career all of the time, okay? So that's why in this video, I'm going to emphasize exploring your interests rather than deciding your interests. Exploring your interests is good because as a lawyer, in order to build a successful, happy, positive career, you should be doing something you really like doing and that you're really good at. And so exploring those interests, seeing the things that you like and dislike, is going to set you up for career success. So let's talk about some of the ways that you can explore your interests. The first way is taking different courses. Once you get through your main core courses in 1L, you can start picking and choosing what courses you are going to take. A lot of times people get advice to take bar classes, which I don't disagree. Also take courses with subjects that you have potential interest in. For me, example, I pretty much knew I was going to go into big law very early in my legal career. However, I wanted to confirm, I wanted to be sure. And so I took some like family law related classes. Now in big law, you're typically not going to see any sort of family law practice within a large law firm like that. However, I wanted to make sure. So I took classes like marital property, which focuses highly on, you know, ownership of assets and divorce and things like that for, you know, married people. And so that was a class I took to explore that interest. I liked the class. Even went on to intern at a family law firm. So even though ultimately I decided against that path, it was cool for me to explore and just make sure that that is not something that I wanted to practice and do. And so just taking those classes, getting your feet wet, seeing what you like and dislike is always going to be a good idea. Another thing you can do to explore your interests is to get some legal experience. Now you can do this through internships, clerkships, summer associateships. This is where you get jobs at law firms and other legal entities in order to get legal experience. And this is a place where you can really, really explore your interests, because you get exposure to what these lawyers who practice certain areas of law do every single day. And you also even get a chance to do some of that work yourself to see if it's something you like and to see if it's something that you can see yourself doing. I certainly did this. As many of you guys already know, I interned at big law firms both my first and second summer. And when you intern in those law firms, different law firms used to do different things back then, but basically you would do like rotations in different practice areas, and you would get to preference which practice areas you wanted to try out. So I tried out I tried out corporate securities, I tried out real estate, I tried out employment law. I did all sorts of practice areas to try to get exposure to that work to see if it's something that piqued my interest. In addition to that, again, like I mentioned earlier, I interned at a family law firm, and that is where I confirmed that family law was not for me. Although I really loved like kind of the drama of it all, and I like the discovery part, I knew myself well enough to know that some of these kind of ugly scenarios that you see in people when they go through divorce and child custody battles was not something that I wanted to deal with on a day-to-day basis, because I figured, similar to criminal law, that it was something that I would take home with me and maybe not be able to separate between work and personal life. So yeah, that's a great example of how exploring those interests set me up for success in my legal career, because I got to explore transactional work and I really, really liked it. I got to explore family law work and I really didn't like it. And now I'm very happy in the work that I do because I got a taste of that and I got to try it out. So exploring your interest through legal experience is a great idea. Another way you can explore your interest in law school is to join law school organizations and participate in clinics and practicals within your law school. So for example, if you know you want to be a criminal lawyer, then joining the Criminal Law Society and getting that exposure to people who also have similar interests. They usually have speakers come in, they have special topics on cases and things like that to allow you to explore that interest a little bit further. Now on the clinics and practical side, that is a good way to get experience outside of those internships. So for example, I took a contract negotiation course where we got to basically practice negotiating contracts and got all this education about how to effectively negotiate contracts. This was huge for me because I went on to be a contracts lawyer. I went on to be a transactional lawyer, where when I began my career until this day, I negotiate contracts on a daily basis. Those skills and tips that I learned way back in law school are skills that I use to build the foundation of my practice and continue to build on to this day. So that's a great example of how those clinics, organizations can help you explore your interests and also help build up your success for your legal career while you're still in law school. The next tip is to create and build a legal network. This is so important, you guys. Having a legal network is super duper important no matter what area of law you practice. It is super important for so many reasons. It's important for education purposes, learning about opportunities, getting jobs, having support to lean on. I mean, I could go on for days about why it is important to have a legal network. And a mistake that I made is I didn't appreciate that for what it was while I was in law school. And so I really didn't work on building my legal network until I got out of law school. And I still wasn't really good about it up until very recently in my life. A common misconception among law students is, well, you know, I'm in law school right now. I'm focused on school. I don't really need to worry about that until I'm out of school. But building that legal network while in law school will attribute towards your career success. One of the first and obvious reasons for that is that your classmates are your future peers. They could be your future coworkers, your future boss, your future opposing counsel. They could be a recommendation. I mean, there's just so many opportunities for you to be connecting with these people later on, you know, post law school. So that's something to remember, and not to just kind of look at people as, oh, okay, they can maybe help me one day, but to make it a point to make genuine connections with these people in the event that you run into them later in your legal life. Or for example, I just recently had an acquaintance reach out to me about someone who specializes in a particular area of law, and if I knew anyone, because I don't practice that area of law. And so I'm like thinking back, who do I know from law school that does that? Like they become referral sources, just all sorts of things. So take that and lean in on your classmates and peers because they are your colleagues. The next thing you can do to build up your legal network is to attend events. Your law school is going to put on a ton of events. Your organizations that you join are going to put on a ton of events. The local Young Lawyers Association in your area will put on a ton of events. Law firms, all sorts of entities and organizations will put on legal focused events, and I encourage you guys to attend those, especially if they're in areas of law or organizations that pique your interest. Like for example, I know in law school, a lot of people got into the ACLU. They put on all sorts of informational events and networking events. Attend those events, meet people, connect with people, learn from people. These types of things are going to be great for you and for your network when you become a lawyer. And lastly, lean into your professors and other alumni. The alumni network is real, you guys. People love connecting with and hooking up people that went to their school. It's like a camaraderie, you guys. So definitely lean into the alumni as well as your professors. Your professors, while not all professors have worked in the legal field, they know people who know people who know people, and they're great recommendation and referral sources. So lean into them. Don't look at them as just, okay, you know, I go to class, listen to the lecture. Get to know them, talk to them. Some professors really take an interest in their students and can give them great advice, can hook them up with jobs, all sorts of things, you guys. So definitely lean into the people around you at law school as well as in the legal community in your area to start building your legal network. Another thing that wasn't as popular when I was in law school is like Instagram and LinkedIn. Like, you can lean into people on there. I have people reach out to me all the time, you know, networking with me. Since my platform has grown, it's not as easy for me to like connect with somebody one-on-one, but I definitely used to do that all the time because the requests were a little bit more sporadic than they are now. But even on Instagram, like, there's people I follow on Instagram, other lawyers who I feel like we're friends and I've never met them a day in my life, but we talk, we connect, we give each other advice. I run things by them. So it doesn't even have to be limited to your area because we live in this world of technology and social media. So take that what you will. I'm going to get off my soapbox. I know many of you guys are right in the thick of studying for final exams, so I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any video suggestions, leave them in the comments down below. Make sure you're following me on Instagram at _theaspiringboss. Make sure you join our Facebook group, The Aspiring Lawyers. If you're looking to book a one-on-one consultation with me, the link for that will be in the description box below. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.